Just like your phone going off in the middle of the night, these statistics are alarming. Americans now check their phones on average 150 times per day.
I look at it for news quite a bit.
While awake, we reach for our phones every 6 minutes.
I got a text.
It adds up to about 5 hours a day on the phone, and more often than not, we're not making calls.
I'm playing Dog Hotel.
But what if our phones went away?
It might be more difficult for me than most.
I'll probably have a couple thousand texts.
That's what we asked a North Hills family to do. Give up the electronics, go off the grid for an entire weekend. After collecting the phones, the iPods, the tablets, the laptops, and Kindles,
There's not a room we don't have electronics in, so this is going to be quite an experiment.
we closed the box and taped it shut, and then gave them a surprise.
The best part is it's going to stay right there.
No, what?
It's going to stay right there for the weekend.
We asked Point Park University psychology professor Dr. Bob McInerney about just how attached we've become to tech.
I think it changes us in ways that we're kind of surprised. Technology shapes our humanity much more than we tend to recognize.
Before we left Friday night, we asked the family to record their thoughts about the experiment on a GoPro camera.
4 hours in, not too bad. Only thing is we went out, couldn't keep in touch with our kids.
I have a feeling it's going to be harder tomorrow because it's a whole day.
Yet after 24 hours, the kids picked up significant changes.
He was more talkative and I saw his face more.
Well, usually when they have their electronics, they go hide up in their room with them. But now they were like sitting down here, more normal.
I got more attention.
You got more attention? Who'd you get attention from?
My mom and dad.
That's exactly what Dr. McInerney expected.
When we're less engaged in that cell phone, we make more eye contact. I think that's for sure, yeah. And eye contact means intimacy.
But there were some anxious moments too.
And I said, I'll go into the customer service and call Dad. And I have a 13-year-old in my back seat that said, you can't call Dad. He doesn't have his phone.
It's strange to have to come home to get the use of a telephone.
And there was another noticeable change.
Okay, can I tell her who's calling?
The house phone got a workout.
Noon? Okay. Yeah. I don't think we're doing anything.
So 48 hours have gone by. Now is the time that we get to open the tape. 1, 2, 3, go.
The devices were passed out, and we asked Scout to go first.
I want you to go ahead and turn your iPod on.
I don't know how to turn it on.
Maybe that's because it's so rare to even turn it off. With a little help, she was back in business and back online. Next came Jack.
292 texts and 12 Snapchats.
You thought it was going to be hard? Was it harder than what you thought?
Yeah.
Are you lost already in your phone?
Yeah, Jack,
Yes.
we're losing Jack. Come back to Earth.
You're going back into your phone mode, aren't you?
It was precisely what the doctor predicted when the tech came back.
And one of the losses is reliance, which I think your social experiment began to discover. One of the more fascinating things your social experiment showed was intimacy, a loss of intimacy.
In retrospect, the family learned it was a hard lesson.
I think all parents are guilty of, to the kids, hand me your electronics, but yet they didn't give theirs up. I would say if you're going to do it, at least go through the pain with them.
For Mary Ann, it's not about calling and texting.
My calendar is pretty much my go-to of where I am at every hour on the hour, and that was really, really hard for me.
But they agreed it taught them a lot about how reliant we've become.
I think we are used to that. I don't want to say addicted, but It's just part of the way our world's rolling right now.
Grant thinks other families can benefit from it, but suggests giving the phones to a neighbor instead of leaving them on the counter at home.
They were pretty good about it, but there were times they said, I'm getting my phone back right now. I'm going to get it. I'm like,
Jensen.
We've got until 5, just hold tight.
Rick Dayton, KDKA TV News.